welcome to Snooze Button. We haven't done this in a few weeks.
Hey.
I got distracted at the very beginning because the audio came in through Twitch because Twitch changed how they do things. It's really annoying. My name is Keith J. Carberry, and with me here, as always, is Kylie Churchill. Hi, Kylie.
No justice, no peace. Fuck the police. No justice, no peace.
Fuck the police. That was
good.
impromptu. That was fun.
Yeah, that was my favorite. That was my favorite protest chant that I got on years and years ago when I went to that protest. That one's got a little groove to it.
That one does have a little bit of groove to it.
You know?
It's a little bit dancey.
Yeah.
Favorite.
Do you wanna? You wanna talk most, best and least, best and worst protest chants?
Oh,
Keith,
I
go.
actually would love to do this. I would love to talk about which protest chants I like
Sorry,
the
Ghost
least.
Rick in the chat's asking how you feeling, Kyle. Sorry, we're not talking about that. Ghost Rick, we're talking about our least and most favorite protest chants. Keith?
Yeah. We're gonna start it off. My least favorite one is "This is what democracy looks like." I don't like that one.
Ooh.
Well,
I don't. I mean, I haven't heard that one actually, but
you haven't heard "This is what democracy looks like"? That's an old one.
it's just. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's an old one. That's like it's a pretty old one. The thing that I don't like
4 or
about
5
it,
days.
the thing that I like about it is that it wasn't one. No, I mean like years and years. This is like this is a pre-current protest run chant. But I don't like people with megaphones taking over a crowd and starting "This is what democracy looks like" crowds. I think it's, in theory, it's a totally fine chant, but when someone shows up with a megaphone to a protest and takes a leadership position that wasn't there and starts chanting "This is what democracy looks like," I think it's fundamentally not what democracy looks like.
Keith is he sure is an anarchist, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's there for it. I just forgot. Oh, okay.
Well,
Sorry,
picture this though. When you're
Okay.
chanting stuff like "fuck the police" or "all cops are bastards" or whatever, and then some activists with a little bit of media savvy and TV thought come on with their megaphones and they say, actually, let's not say "fuck the police," let's say "This is what democracy looks like."
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't like
Sure.
it.
But here I'm curious. Could you give me a little taste? I'm having a hard time hearing how "This is what democracy looks like" becomes a chant. How do they chant it? What's the cadence?
They go like this: "This is what democracy looks like."
That really?
Yeah.
That felt a little awkward.
Yeah, it's also kind of an awkward chant. Yeah.
This is what democracy looks like.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so it's like a call and response. So someone will say that. I think that's one of the other things that's inherently a call and response. And so you get someone yelling or with a megaphone saying it, and then everyone else repeating it. So you go back and forth.
It's
It's not a good one.
No, that one's not a good one. I don't know. I'm not like a huge fan of the call and response thing in general because it ends up feeling like everyone can only hear half of the chant.
I'm normally I like one of the call and response ones I do really like is "Whose Streets Our Streets."
That's really a good one, yeah. But that was the one I was thinking of. I remember I was watching a video clip and I could only hear them saying "our streets," and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then after a while I could hear faintly the one person saying "whose streets," and then I was like, oh, that is right. That is the part. I forgot about that part of it.
I think that might be a function of streams more than
Well, I think it's a function of a crowd. I mean, you have one voice versus 200 voices.
That's true. I feel like a lot of people end up picking up the other half of it at some point, though. Like you end up getting like 30 people doing the "Whose Streets" part instead of just one.
All right, you want my least favorite?
Yeah, what's your least favorite one?
My least favorite that I heard was "Hey, hey, ho, ho, these racist cops have got to go."
Is that because it implies that there's some cops that don't have to go?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one. It also implies that it's the cops who are racist, which of course they are, but
Right.
that's not the problem. And also I don't like the hey hey ho ho format at all. I hate it. I think it sucks. I think it sounds
Just you don't
real.
like saying hey hey ho ho.
No, I think it sounds extremely doofy on top of all the shit like where it's implying that there are some cops that might not be racist who can stick around.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely an argument that, you know, when you say racist cops have got to go, if all the cops are racist, then they all have to go. But I just think it gives cover for the sort of people that say like, no, actually it's only like whatever X percent of bad cops, whether you think it's 10% or 90%, you're wrong either way. But there's definitely more that I don't like. I'm having a hard time pulling more chants. Obviously I don't like.
Well, I suppose it doesn't have to be only a conversation about the things we hate most about these protests. We could talk about some good.
Well,
things
I mean, I can't.
them.
I also can't think of ones that I do like because I'm having trouble pulling more out of my head.
So I'm scrolling through my Twitter timeline and I'm seeing celebrity Ice Cube, blotted Ice Cube, tweet a sign that says the system isn't broken, it was built this way. And that's the problem with these racist cops thing is like it's not the individual cops.
It also is though the individual cops.
It is the individual cops, but
right,
like getting rid of individual cops is not going to fix anything.
Right.
By the way,
changing over all the cops.
I forgot I sound like this because I have my teeth knocked out. In case you didn't know.
Yeah, Kylie had her teeth knocked out. We're gonna talk about it. If that's not your jam, then watch out. I assume that we'll give a warning.
It's fine.
It's fine. You're telling people that it's fine for them?
Yeah, no, like no. I just mean don't get yourself worked up about it. It's not some horrible grisly story.
No, it's actually that's the most remarkable thing about it. From what you told me,
it's just so weird.
Yeah. Is there anything else? Well, you didn't give me your favorite chant though.
Oh, I did. It was the no justice, no peace.
Oh,
okay.
The
police.
Yes, yeah, you're right. We started that way. Do you have another one though? Do you have a second favorite?
I mean, that's really my number one with a bullet, to be honest. Because also, no justice, no peace. I'm a big fan of that like slogan in general. So and then of course, I don't like police, and then you smack it all together, put a little groove on there. What's not to love about it?
I also like. I'm actually surprised that I like this because before the George Floyd protests, the only person that I knew that consistently would use this slang for cops was a real dumbass. But I really like just like 2,000 people yelling back and forth at each other. Fuck 12. I think that one works really good.
That's just drug enforcement, right?
Everyone just means all police though now.
I know. It's just weird. It was just weird because I actually hadn't heard of that before. So I'm like, what the fuck is everyone talking about? Only to look it up and be like, they're kind of wrong about what they're bringing up.
No, it just means all police. I mean, it doesn't, fine. But it does. That's how people have used it for years.
We also have I'm seeing the Seattle Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, also known as Free Capitol Hill.
Yeah, I love that. I retweeted that yesterday. That's the best good. Shit. I'm gonna say, running down my.
Oh my god, they have a map. Someone has provided an overhead map of Seattle with colored zones. Wow. This is the Capitol Hill Free Zone. This is the regime occupied Safeway. Police hold up over here. Damn. Very interesting.
Seattle is going wild. I haven't seen a lot of Seattle.
East Precinct. Yeah, they abandoned police.
I saw that. I saw rumors that cops were going to try to burn down their own precinct to burn it on protesters. I was
super worried about that. Just people didn't hear. Yeah, there was a police station in this zone that has been basically taken over by protesters. But the thing was that there was this cavalcade, this like police exodus where they took like shredder trucks and all the vehicles and everything, and they were taking stuff out of the building for hours. So like, yeah, I was like seriously concerned they're about to torch that building and blame it on protesters.
I mean, I wasn't concerned about that. I don't think that protesters burning down a precinct. I think that it's not. I think the cops are wrong that the bad press means anything at this point.
Yeah, I know. It's just I'm so fucking sick. It's like, because you go through Twitter, it's nothing but like these weird like police false flag bullshit things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you watch any stream, every single stream is full of like cop sycophants and like racists and Nazis going like feigning concern for streamers being like, I heard that this dangerous thing's about to happen, you got to get out of there. And it's just like a constant barrage of totally like weak-willed attempts to get any particular streamer from streaming. Mm-hmm. It's really bizarre. Like, it's just like dozens of people constantly lying to try to get the stream turned off. And obviously none of it works. No one.
Yeah, It's so funny. The one really satisfying thing, or I mean, maybe not the one, but a satisfying thing about all this has been watching these fucking these like internet conservative trolls get all pissy about like, oh, we're watching our country being taken over by sissies. Isn't anyone gonna stop them? And it's like, no, bitch, that's the point. Not a single fucking person is gonna stop this. You're sitting at home on your couch, and so is all your friends. Yeah. Turns out that shitty internet trolls don't actually believe in anything, don't actually give a shit about anything. You don't actually have any friends or allies. You just have like people on the internet that love to be mad at stuff. That's not actually a movement, though. Sorry.
Yeah. Obviously some things about the protests have been extremely tragic. Some things have been really inspiring. I guess the number one thing I have to say is watch out for fucking liberals, because they'll totally take over your protest with no effort. It is extremely easy because liberals don't have the thing in their brain that says, should I do this? Should I
be leading this right now?
Yeah, they just feel like their ideas are good and that they belong. And there's no like, this is my thing. If you follow my Twitter, you've seen me probably at least a couple times talk about the megaphones at the protest and the bullhorns. I think there's a lot of like leftists or radicals or whoever that just don't feel comfortable bringing a megaphone or a bullhorn and trying to direct a crowd full of people, because it inherently it sucks to do that. And like, liberals don't have that in their head. They don't have the thing in their head saying like, should I be in charge here? Should I make myself the protest manager? That like tries to go and work with the cops behind everyone's back, or tries to like, to get the cops to say like we believe in you,
everybody.
Or
they're gonna kneel with us.
Yeah, they're gonna kneel with us.
They're kneeling.
They're gonna march with us. We're healing now. Ugh, God. So fucking watch out for liberals. Will ruin everything. They'll just ruin everything. So be careful. Fuck cops. If you gotta burn shit down. And also be careful. The thing that I think fundamentally liberals don't understand about the protests is that it's something that I think people on the further ends of the left and also the cops understand, which is that these are not just protests, they're rebellions. Mm-hmm. In a literal sense, they're rebellions. And so a lot of leftists and also the cops are going into it like it's a rebellion, because that's what it is. And so when you try to take a knee, or you try to get cops to take a knee, or you try to maintain peaceful protests,
dude, cops taking a knee was what started all of this.
I know, it's bad. It's also a bad look, but the thing that you're doing is you're disarming in the middle of a conflict. Like, this is a conflict between citizens and police. No amount of peaceful protesting is going to change that.
No.
And spreading the idea that if we all just go and are peaceful, that will be left alone is going to get people hurt or killed, because people at these protests have been hurt and killed by the police. Yeah. I don't know how many people have been killed by cops at these protests, but surely dozens and dozens of people have been seriously injured.
Yeah.
By police, I mean.
Yeah, it's wild. It is. I mean, like, it is. Can I fucking tell you, Keith?
Yeah.
Can I fucking tell you
tell me.
that in the year of our Lord 2020, it is quite difficult to shock me with what I'm seeing from, like, our state. But damn, these police, it is so wild. And it's like, yeah, and that is the thing, is like, yeah, the liberal perspective makes people, like, fundamentally unable to actually see what is happening in front of them, because if you see the way these cops are acting, these cops know exactly what's happening. They know this is like the season finale.
Yeah.
This is the final battle for them. Like, if they don't win this fight, they're gone. So of course they're fighting like crazy.
Yeah, it's not, there's nothing. Yeah, there's not, I guess if there's one thing I can get across, the cops being there already make it not a peaceful protest.
Yeah.
And so if you want to not fight back against the police, then you have to figure out a different thing to call it, because calling it peaceful is going to get people who shouldn't be at, like, the front lines of these protests hurt or killed because they didn't expect retaliation like is happening. Which is silly, I think, to not realize what the cops are doing and that it doesn't matter. But like, I don't know. I've seen like little kids like in front lines against the police, and I'm like, oh my God, please be careful with that child.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kylie, do you want to tell your protest story?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You don't have to.
Why not? No, I do. It was funny. I got it to go tweet it because there was just like, oh no, my phone wants to do a carrier update. There was I was just looking at this tweet that I sent Sunday night, like before I went to the protest, and it was I like quote retweeted Boston Mayor Marty Walsh. And he was saying some shit like,
slime ball.
We've seen stuff like this before, but this time it feels different, and this is really the time for like listening and trying to come together or whatever. And I said, like, I tweeted the most Boston thing I've ever tweeted, or it just went like, yeah, it was different this time. We all got nowhere we gotta be on Monday morning, Marty. Eat shit.
I saw this tweet. I didn't read it in that accent, but it I can see it.
Yeah, I didn't either until I reread it last night, and I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like, did I just realize that I'm extremely from Boston, aren't I? And it's obvious to everyone except me. Because I'm just like looking at like every tweet I'm sending, and just like every time I'm mad about anything, I am ready to like put people's faces in pavement. Like, you get the fuck away from me. Come on, Marty, we're going.
Do you get this from your mother, maybe, who inexplicably has more of an accent than anyone else in our family?
It must be. No, I meant more the attitude than the accent.
I think it comes with it.
I'm quite belligerent, and I swear a lot, and those are Boston things.
That's true. Well, where would you have learned that if not from your mother?
No, I don't know.
Who was...
That's just the kind of shit you pick up on the streets outside Dunks, Keith.
Who was... Forgive me for saying this. I believe your mom was a bit of a bully in her youth. That's what I have heard.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, I heard that that my mom didn't get fucked with at school because everyone was afraid of your mom. That's
that doesn't surprise me to hear. No, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that checks out because like she totally dates a guy that looks exactly like one of these fucking neo-Nazis driving a car into a protest. So
Oh
it
yeah,
doesn't surprise me.
that guy
She hangs
definitely
out
has
with
cop
bullies.
look.
Why wouldn't she have been one? Yeah, it makes
is that
sense.
guy a
I mean,
bully?
I guess she got better. Good for her, but she didn't get better friends.
Yeah. I don't know that
That's
guy,
not
but
true. My
that's
mom's friends are fine, actually.
oh yeah, I mean, yeah. I've known your mom's friends or some of them for years. Not like we hang out, but I've known them. They seem
Yeah.
nice.
Um.
So you tweeted this thing out.
Oh yeah, it was just funny. It was funny because it was like and I mean that was true. I feel like people have really downplayed this part of it, and they were like, "Wow, we've never seen mobilization like this for a movement." It's like, yeah, it's because no one's working, no one has anywhere to be, so of course
Yeah.
they're all out.
Yeah, some people are furloughed still. A lot of people have just been laid off. A lot of places are opening back up. Rhode Island has been in stage 2 for a couple days, despite still, between 10 and 20 people dying every day in Rhode Island, which is small.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, anyways, it turned out I really needed that Monday off, so it was good that I had it.
Yeah.
So I guess I have to tell the story of my teeth getting knocked out because I never put it on the Twitter. I meant to, and then I didn't get around to it. The problem because we skipped a week because I was hurt last week and also I overslept or something. I forget I had a dentist appointment to get my teeth wired together and stuff.
Yeah, you ended up having a dentist appointment earlier than you thought you were going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, I went to Boston by myself because I have no friends. I wasn't for a number of reasons I didn't go. I was just in a mail presentation. I didn't didn't have my wig on and I was just in regular clothes. I mean male clothes, regular clothes. Regular for me because that's what I've had my whole life. Mostly because I knew that there was a really good chance that I was going to have to I didn't know what was going to be happening because it was just peaceful protests that day. But I was like, we had been seeing stuff, from Minneapolis and Seattle and stuff. So it was like, well, I know this shit might be going down tonight, so I shouldn't wear that wig because it might just fall off my head if I have to run from the cops or something.
Yeah. And that ended up being the biggest protest day yet in Boston. The first 2 or 3 days, I can't remember at this point, were pretty small, which is why I didn't think anything. This was when I was like, oh, nothing's going to happen in Boston, really. And then, by 2 days later, every single state had a protest. And most states had multiple.
All 50 states?
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah. So I went in by myself, and eventually got to Boston Common, which is sort of a city park type thing, and it's where tons of people were milling around. There had been protests all day, and people were mostly starting to leave, and there was I think there was a 9 p.m. COVID curfew. So it was a curfew, but it wasn't the type of curfew that the cops were using as an automatic ticket to start beating people with sticks.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
everyone
their favorite kind of ticket, though.
That's their yeah, everyone was peaceful. It totally didn't feel like it was going to turn into a riot or anything. And there was just a ton of people there. It was wild. But really quickly after the curfew hit, people started leaving, and people were kind of I think it was by the State House, right? So it was the State House was across from the Common, and then so people were kind of in the road in between those two areas. And honestly, it's everyone's leaving. This thing's about to die, but everyone's just kind of hanging out. And I don't know if the cops were just getting bored or, they just wanted to fuck with people or what, but they sent like 4 cruisers with their lights and sirens on, like blaring down this road at like 50 miles per hour and like almost hit a bunch of people and stuff.
Yeah.
And because it's motherfucking Boston and we don't fuck around, the whole crowd did exactly what I would have done, which was instead of going, oh shit, and jumping out of the road, everyone went, the fuck, and moved into the road. And so the last cop car that was coming through got blocked. And so I got this video of like, people throwing themselves on the front of the car. People are punching it, kicking it, throwing water bottles at it.
Sick.
And one very interesting individual in the back has a metal baseball bat. And they are fucking wailing on the back of this car. So like spoiler alert, I'm fairly certain this is the same person who hit me with the bat. And every time I watch the video, I can't even be mad at them because I'm just like, look at them go, though.
Yeah.
They really knocked out that back window. And then so the cop car eventually like crawls its way through the crowd and drives away. And that's when the crowd decides, okay, this crowd's moving into the street now. We're walking down the street. Let's go, everybody. And so yeah, we walk down the street, blocking this whole road, and like I'm talking, less than 100 yards, we get like very first business we come up to is a Santander bank, and people just start breaking the windows.
Nice.
And then and I think this is mostly white people doing this. And then immediately most of the crowd of protesters is like, no, stop, no, don't, and they like jump in the way and like,
not Santander.
Not well, it's this shit. It's like we gotta keep it peaceful. Well, I think
ATMs are always clean.
I think from their perspective was like, don't ruin our movement or whatever it was. They were all like, and especially it was like because they thought people were gonna start trying to loot the bank or something. They're just like, not the fucking bank. What are you doing? That seems like a bad idea. But whatever. So then these windows get broken. People kind of like discourage. So first of all, it's this very stupid feeling of like, we just started walking down the street and people started breaking the very first business establishment we came to. Like, this was really fast because like now I guess the police are going to come here at these broken windows. I don't know what's happening. And then there's like, so I think people start to move on from that. And even I think cops, like at least one police cruiser did get to that window and people started continuing to walk down the street. I saw black protesters getting into like a fight with each other, like they're pushing each other and yelling, and then it's like suddenly everyone is like intervening to like break up the fight, and now okay, there's like solidarity between these protesters again, and we're continuing. I guess this is all to say there's a lot of chaos and there's absolutely no consensus over like what this crowd is here to do.
Right. Well, because everyone was here to go home, and then a bunch of cops almost barreled through a crowd of people.
Yeah, exactly. So like, so you have these, and so you have like the white people that want to smash things. You have like the black protesters that are like, no, this is a peaceful protest that has spilled out into the streets and is now completely blocking traffic. And then there's so like cars start laying on their horns, and I guess I don't even really remember like why I decided to do this, but I was drunk on the power of the crowd as well. And so there's a line of cars that are blocked to get onto the street because we're filling up the street, and someone's just like laying on their horn. Like,
before you say this, I want to say that passerby cars honking is generally a support thing.
Yeah.
And has generally been that, and has often filled up the whole cities with like everybody honking at all the protesters being like, yeah.
I don't see it's and I've thought about that. I like thought about that 100 times looking back on it. I was like, person honking in support. I really don't think so though, honestly, because I encountered like at least 2 more cars that night of like people driving that were like literally like beeping, and I could hear them yelling like, I'm just trying to go home, get the fuck out of the road.
Yeah.
So I'm
Boston
not
shit.
yeah, like, and yeah, like, this is 9 p.m. and it's getting like, the sun is down, and it's like, and people aren't chanting, and it's not like a huge mass of people. It's literally like people kind of sauntering through the road, just like, we're walking in the road, I guess we're doing this now. Like, so it really didn't have like a protest vibe.
Right.
It had more of a riot vibe, believe it or not, if you could believe it, Keith.
I can believe it.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. I honestly, in retrospect, it was very dumb. I have no idea if they were beeping in support or if it was even the right car, but basically I walked up to the car in the front of the line and slammed both my fists on the hood and was just like, shut the fuck up. And the people in the car got really surprised, which was pretty satisfying.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, so as soon as I do this, some other people that are like right next to me were really not happy that I had done this, and were immediately just like, hey, don't do that, get out of here, and started like kind of shoving me and going like, get out of here. And I was immediately just like, okay. Like, all right, I'm going. Especially because it was like I didn't really get a good look because it all happened within the span of like literally 5 seconds or something, but it was like at least the one or two people I could see that were telling me to get out of there were both like black protesters, and I at least had the reason, the like reasonability, the sense of mind to be like, if this is a black rights protest and some black protesters are telling me to leave, I'm just like, yes, okay, sorry, shit, I'm leaving now.
Fair.
But so yeah, so like I kind of get shoved a little bit, and they're like, get the fuck out of here, like, we're not doing that, whatever. And I kind of do that like reflexive like hands up thing, like just like if someone walks at you, you just kind of put your hands up like, whoa, hey, that kind of move. So I have my hands up like kind of like that, and I'm just like, whoa, sorry,
I'm not fighting move. I'm not here to do anything.
Whoa,
to
like
move.
no conflict here. I sure am doing the thing you're telling me to do. And I kind of like turn to walk in the opposite direction, and like basically as I do that, dude with bat moves into my field of view, and then like kind of like bang 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 real quick, aluminum baseball bat, one swing to my legs right below my crotch, one swing to my stomach right above my crotch, and then one swing straight to the pearly whites, baby.
Three hits?
3 hits.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 3 hits. Him hitting me again, him hitting me a third time, me walking away. No hits on the ground.
That's fucked up. I should say, no one knows what's going on, and so you thought someone was being an asshole, and so you banged your fists on a car, and that person thought you were being an asshole, and so they hit you 3 times with a bat. They must have been really fucking sure.
Well, your
hands up were there to cause trouble.
Yeah. And so this is the thing. This person that hit me with the bat, they hit me 3 times with the bat. I don't see them again. They disappear from my life permanently in that moment. So I have ultimately no idea why. Well, I shouldn't say I have no idea. I don't know why they hit me. So it's like, did they hit me because me banging on the car and yelling at the car made them assume that I was one of the white people that smashed the bank windows, and they're pissed at me for that? Or
they smashed the cop car, probably.
Yeah, they smashed a cop car, so I don't know. But here's the other thing I'm thinking is like, do they just hear me yelling, shut the fuck up, and they look over and they see a bunch of people shoving me, and they just assume that I'm yelling, shut the fuck up at the protesters? Like, I don't...
And did anybody say something when you got hit with a bat 3 times?
I mean...
Did anybody go like, whoa, what the fuck?
Here's the thing, Keith, and this... you might not think about this, but when you get smashed in the mouth with a metal baseball bat, you have a tendency to stop listening to what is being said around you.
No, but so, that's if someone saw you, I feel like their impulse should have been, I'm going to call an ambulance for you.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you, Keith. My headphones keep dying, of course, so I'm gonna go grab some batteries real quick.
Okay, that's fine.
How do people feel about the fact that this guy hit me with this
Yeah,
bat?
how many people ran over and offered to call an ambulance for you?
I don't know that anyone offered to call an ambulance. Definitely a girl like rushed over to me with some like, you know, she had gauze pads, right? That is
Right.
what she had, and she offered them to me, and I was appreciative. And I remember it just being like there was like blood pouring out of my mouth, and she offered me these gauze pads, and I was just like, "He's say I hit with the face with a bat," and she was just like, "Yeah, I saw."
Yeah.
And it was just, yeah, it was like the pitiful face of a very helpful person who wants to help as much as they can, but ultimately has no real way to help. Um, and yeah, so that's the thing is I've spent quite a bit of time pondering this since then. Is, how did the people react to that? I would certainly hope that the guy that felt the need to shove me and tell me to leave because I hit my fist on the hood of a car would feel that smashing my teeth in was not a good response for that kid to do.
Right.
um but yeah, ultimately I don't know. I think vaguely, like when I get hit with the bat, it was very funny because like it was like this very Frankenstein. This kid must have thought I was so fucking tough because it was this very Frankenstein's monster kind of thing where it was like he hits me with the bat and it doesn't really feel like anything. It just feels like big impact, right? It's just like big impact. um and now I'm kind of dazed or whatever, and like sort of in that moment where the impact happens, I think I have like a vague memory of like seeing a couple people that I could see out of the corner of my eye doing that like huge like ooh kind of like reaction thing, but like I was barely processing it at
Right.
that point.
Yeah.
But sorry, yeah, it was just funny that I like barely flinched. He like he hit me 3 times with this bat, and I like basically didn't flinch at all. It was just like, oh no, my mouth.
Yeah. Massive amounts of pain like that. Bodies have really weird reactions too.
Yeah, yeah, and
Um,
I mean, like, cause like where I'm, this, people are smashing stuff and getting into fights, and I'm yelling at a car and then getting shoved. So I was already full of adrenaline at that point, I imagine. So
yeah. I just
um,
I've held a metal bat,
mhm.
and I think people tend to have a pretty implicit understanding of like what something does if you swing it or if you throw it.
Mm.
Like like I know what it would do. I can imagine. I've never
Mhm.
thrown a tennis ball at someone's face, but I can imagine how much that would hurt and how much damage it could
Yeah,
potentially
I'm
do to
imagining it
someone.
now. I don't like it.
If the tennis ball,
Yeah.
yeah, it would probably hurt,
Yeah.
but it probably wouldn't
Yeah,
knock
I'd be
you
like,
out.
ow.
It might bruise you if it hit you in the right spot, but if it hit you on the forehead, it probably might not even bruise you, or it maybe might not
No.
even bruise you.
Well, it depends on how
If it hit
fast
you in
you're
the
throwing it.
nose, I bet that would really hurt. I bet you could cut your lip on your tooth if it hit you in the mouth. Um, and a baseball bat is a similar thing. The idea that you would hit someone 3 times with a bat with that sort of understanding of what a metal bat can do
Yeah,
to
like
someone,
the first 2 swings weren't gonna do it.
yeah, it's just well, I just mean like it just feels like a person who is genuinely trying to hurt you in a lot.
Yeah, it sure does
It
seem like
doesn't
that,
sound
doesn't
like
it?
it doesn't
And
sound
that's
like a reflexive I'm gonna hit this guy with a bat, because you have to
no.
decide 3 separate times to hit someone with the bat.
Yeah. Well, it happened so fast. I'm not sure that it was it was quite like that, but yeah, basically. I don't know. He seemed pretty young, like early 20s. I don't know, just a young angry kid, I guess. It's weird. It's like I don't know, man. I don't
Yeah,
know, but it hasn't
I've been in fights before. I guess what
basically,
I'm saying is that even in a fight with adrenaline, you have a sense of like, well, I'm not gonna just pummel someone in the head. Is I
yeah,
guess the
yeah.
thing I'm
And
trying to get
and
across.
that's the other thing is he hit me twice pretty low and then went really high. So I guess he definitely intended to go high, but like I wonder like was he aiming for my chest and went really high? Like he was shorter than me. I don't know, man. Weird. Fucking
Yeah,
weird.
it's fucking weird.
But ultimately, it's like whatever. Like I I wish that I hit if I was going to have my teeth knocked out at the Boston riot. I wish I had it done in a less stupid, pointless way or for a less stupid, pointless reason,
Yeah,
or at least in a way that was an easier story to tell. Because the thing that sucks about that story is that there's no story, but it needs all this setup. So it's like it's so hard to tell people just what happened to me.
yeah.
So because then I walk 20 minutes to Tufts Medical Center, and it's like along the way I
Dan,
keep
you offered
encountering
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Wow.
Um, wait, no, I walked there.
That's what I mean. Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
walked. It was the
Um,
like if you had walked 2 minutes, I wouldn't have been like. I wouldn't have been a get like 20 minutes. I'm saying
well,
is
I
too
don't know.
long to
Like,
walk when your mouth is like that.
yeah, I guess, yeah, I've heard people react that way too. They're like, 20 minutes, what? But I guess in my mind, having a world-class medical facility that's open 24 hours, that's 20 minutes away when you get your mouth smashed in is like pretty ideal type shit.
Yeah, I guess
Um,
this is an extension of my thinking that someone in the crowd should have called an ambulance for you.
um, yeah, maybe. I don't know. And I think like in that moment also, it's like, well, first of all, our medical system is like, whatever an ambulance is going to cost me, I'm not sure I want to pay for it. But also, one, it was like nothing was wrong with my legs, and also at that point, I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know if there's going to be a problem for medical responders to get here because, like
Yeah.
I said, people are in the street, traffic's backed up. Now there's a cop at the bank that's at the that's about a block away at this point that had its window smashed in, so it's just like I'm just gonna fucking walk to
Yeah.
this hospital. And it was just it sucked because like on the way it was like kept running into very helpful people that wanted to offer me water, and I had to be like, sorry, I don't even know, like I can't eat, like my mouth,
Right.
like,
You
oh,
could
do
be
you want to
drinking
like switch,
blood.
yeah, like, do you want to like swish some water around? I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck is going on in there right now, right? Like
Yeah.
it is a jungle in my mouth right now. I just, I even had it was funny. I was walking like I think this was like within the first couple minutes that I start walking to the hospital, some group of kids like looked like they were maybe like 18 or something was like passing me, and yeah, totally went like, oh shit, dude, you okay, you want some water? Or it said, you need some water, and I was kind of like, I need an emergency room. And I kept walking, and the kid goes, hey, fuck you. I like look over at him, and I'm like, what? And he's like, I'm sorry. Like I don't know why would he like immediately took offense and then was immediately like,
Yeah.
oh, that was
Oh
wrong to
yeah.
do.
I wasn't thinking.
I was just like, as I'm
Yeah.
walking, like, going, come on, man, you
Yeah.
see my teeth, right? What?
Yeah. It's very
And then
teen impulse to
yeah,
like be like, hey, fuck you.
you don't want my fucking water?
You
There's
don't
like,
wanna fuck
and
my water?
let's
Fuck
let's be
you.
clear, like, my mouth, it's like my lips are like huge and puffed up, and there is just like my whole chin is just red from like the blood of my mouth. And he's like, hey, fuck you for turning down my water.
Yeah.
And and so of course, like on the way to the hospital, it's like I kept running into people that were just like, oh shit, what happened? Or they look at my mouth and just go like, oh shit, did they get you? And I can't just be like, yeah, the cops hit me with a club and I broke my teeth. Instead I have to be like, no, it was another protester. Why? I guess I don't know why I like I yelled at a car. I don't know. Or I think there was, I mean, the real answer is the real problem, it's a problem with my brain, is that when people ask me questions, I can't not engage directly with their question. Like I could have just been like, no, it was another protester, shit's getting crazy anyways, I'm still walking. but for some reason I like engaged slightly more because I can't shut off my brain or whatever. But I think there was one girl who asked me what happened, and I was having of course I just got my fucking mouth smashed in, so I'm like super out of it and really not coherent at all, and so I'm just kind of like, she goes like, did the police, this was the police? And I go, no, it wasn't the police. It was like it was like another protester or something. I don't know. And she goes like, she says something like, oh, like you could kind of hear in her voice there was like this moment of like realization, but then I was like, wait, no, what are you realizing? Are you realizing that I was a racist who was harassing the protesters and that's why they hit me with the bat? Because I don't want you to realize that. So,
did you say that or you just think it?
No, that's just what I thought.
Oh, okay.
I just like this. The story is one of the people I talked to on the way to the hospital, I'm pretty sure, got the impression that I got hit with a bat because I was being racist.
I don't know that we can assume that. For your peace of mind, I think we can assume
that's true. Yeah,
not that.
I know. It's just that's just what it felt like in the moment, you know. But no, this is a great thing. I mean, if there's if there's anything to be said about Boston, what was great about this was I went to, and keep in mind, of course, pandemic is still happening, COVID's still happening, so this hospital is not in normal operation. They're in their COVID operation.
Yeah.
And so I'm in the emergency room and they go, and as I walk in, I see that there's a building, like a separate building attached that's like dental school. And I'm like, oh shit, that's lucky. And they go like, yeah, so there's a dental school attached and it's 24/7. So we're going to have a dentist come look at your mouth. I got a dentist in the emergency room at 10:30 at night, Keith. Can you fucking believe it?
Only because it was Boston, I can believe it. Yeah.
Only because it was Boston. Incredible.
Hospital City.
Yeah, Hospital City. So it was very good. I had a very good experience at the Tufts Medical Center. Dentist saw me, and then after a couple hours, I got some stitches put in my lip and in my gums, and I got some pain medicine, and I got sent home. And it was funny. I don't want to overplay the damage because all in all, there really wasn't that much damage that was done to Boston, at least from what I saw.
Oh, I thought you meant to your mouth.
Oh, yeah, that too. Sorry. Sorry, I'm just thinking ahead of like, like I don't know. The story of me, and I guess nothing really happens in the emergency room. I was sad. I was sad that my teeth got knocked out.
Fair.
So wait. My teeth, let's see. Top left canine shattered. Next one over, gone. It was the canine's broken in half. The next one over to the right was shattered and got pulled the day after the injury when I went back to the dentist school. That was the other thing, is like the dentist school doesn't do appointments. You just show up, which is cool. They're just like, I just show up on Tuesday after 9.
We're really chill here.
Yeah. So that one got pulled. 2 front top teeth, both broken in half. And then the rest of my top teeth are fine. Bottom teeth, I had a retaining bar that was cemented onto my bottom 2 canines in front of my front lower teeth. That got smashed out by the bat, and I pulled that out of my mouth like right after I got hit. And so the cement, so I have like now like the backs of my 2 lower canines are damaged because of the cement that got torn off them. And then one of my lower front teeth got knocked out, the one all the way to the right, and the other 3 got seriously fucked up and like kind of caved in. And so that was on Sunday night, and on Tuesday I went back to the dentist, and they had, they like numbed up my mouth, and like my front lower teeth specifically, like the male dental surgeon had to come and use like all of his force on my skull in order to like reset the teeth back to the position they were supposed to be in, like, because one of the teeth got in front of the other ones or whatever. And they wired those up. So now I have like essentially temporary braces on my bottom teeth. And these are temporary braces that will be precipitating the real ass braces I will probably have for like 2 years after this or something. I'm going back next to, so it's been a week. That was a week ago. My teeth, what was interesting was the injury, not really that bad. I mean, like, my mouth was throbbing like on the way to the hospital, like that really sucked. But it's funny, like, I took a picture of myself and like I kind of get why people that get their teeth all knocked out always like smile in the picture, because like, because first of all, it's like, if you don't smile in the picture, you're about to take the most grim and gruesome photograph of yourself that will ever be taken.
Not to, I don't want to alter your perception of this picture, but with the smile, it's still pretty grim.
Oh yeah, no, I know, but that's the thing, is like, you should have seen it before there was a smile, though.
Yeah, fair.
But it is funny though. I look at it now. It felt a lot worse on the inside of my mouth than seeing the picture. I'll say that. Like, my teeth definitely felt worse than they look in that picture. But I don't know. Wait, where was I going?
You see why people smile, because it wasn't that bad.
Because like the teeth in the moment didn't like literally hurt like in the moment. And even after like I went home, really the real teeth pain, and I knew that this would be the case, was after I went to the dentist to get it, fixed up. Because so when they wire it up, then I have that horrible, awful, like, new braces tightened feeling. Where like my bottom front teeth are just like throbbing because it just feels like, we're being squished together so hard. You know that feel?
Yeah, I actually don't. I
or did you have braces?
Nope.
Do you not know that feel?
No braces, no cavities.
Kiefer?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait,
hi. I hear you now.
Hi, can you hear me?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you for a second.
Okay, I said no braces, no cavities for me.
Oh, no braces. Shit.
No braces.
You lucky asshole. Yeah, braces suck. And the fucked up thing is that these temporary kind of braces thing happening here is that it's much bulkier and more unfortunately shaped for my mouth. I have really sensitive mouth tissue. I had braces for 2 years and they constantly tore up my cheeks and stuff all the time. So I just have like a permanent. Luckily, they had really good orthodontic wax at the dentist place. But yeah, so I'm just living with. So like, me trying to talk right now, my speech is most impeded right now by the bar of wax that is across like my entire lower jaw, basically
keeping it from cutting on the metal.
Yeah. And good talk. Yeah, so the first night was pretty sad. I was very sad to lose my teeth, and very sad about the weird and random and quite senseless way in which I lost my teeth.
Yeah.
I think what real and I was pretty much fine the next morning, and people have been all commenting to me that I don't seem that bothered by my injury at all. My sister was just like, "You seem very relaxed about all of this," and I think it was.
Well, what else can you do? You can't just like. I mean,
sure.
Your body, and I've never had my teeth knocked out, but I've had other serious injuries, and I've had people have horrible things happen in their life, and it's like, well, I just can't melt down for 3 days. Your brain isn't equipped to melt down for 3 days.
Yeah, and to be clear, I don't want to, I don't want to convey the idea that there haven't been tears, and I have much less so now than a week ago, but certainly like relived the moments over and over again, like leading up to that and all that stuff, and that hasn't been fun. But I think part of what's made it easier for me to get over as much as I have, and even I've been surprised by how well I've been dealing with it, is just knowing like was first of all was like waking up the next day and seeing all this news about how like people in Boston like went on to like light cop cars on fire and stuff, and that was cool. Like, you know, if I had woken up and looked at the news the next day and it was like, oh, they went into the street, somebody broke some bank windows and everyone fucked off and went home, like that would have been like way more depressing.
Yeah.
But like at least, you know, at least someone did something. At least it kind of felt like it was for something. You know, and I did go there. I did go to that protest knowing that there was a good chance that I might get hurt. I just, you know,
not that way.
Just, you know, maybe not that way though.
Yeah.
But you know, whatever. It's like, you know, hey, don't hit people with bats, I guess.
Yeah, don't hit people with bats.
But ultimately, you know, it's like, yeah, I could waste all my time being mad at this kid that hit me with the bat, but like ultimately the reason that I got hit with that bat is still, you know, it's still white supremacy and the white supremacy within the police organization and, you know, the institutional racism our whole country is based on. So, you know, it's not like it's the fucking kid's fault anyways.
Right. No one would have been there without the police.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, is that the whole point of these protests and riots and everything is that, you know, we're, you know, standing up for people that have had a lot worse done to them for a lot worse reasons for way longer.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, real quick before, did you have anything else to say on this?
Oh, well, I was going to say, I will have a dental fund set up for people to like donate. A lot of people have reached out and said like, hey, I'd love to contribute. You're going to have dental bills. And I'm sure I will have thousands of dollars of dental bills.
Good. I saw you tweeting about this.
Yeah. You know, I'm not doing that right now because it just doesn't seem like the right time for that. There's many other worthy charitable causes happening that need your money.
You don't have bills yet, right?
No, yeah, that's the other thing. I don't have bills yet. And the other thing is, you know, people have been commenting like, wow, you seem like you're really handling this well. But like, on the other hand, it's like, I'm not working.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't have to deal with going to work because I live in Massachusetts and I'm not working. That means that I get mass health care. So my dental is, you know, like, how good is my dental coverage? I don't even really know. I guess we'll find out. But I do know that the dental coverage I have is the best possible dental coverage I ever could have reasonably expected to have. So, you know, like, I'm in the best position I can be that way. I have, you know, I'm getting COVID, you know, I'm getting money from the state every week for COVID relief. So I have income to help me eat and live and all this stuff. So I'm okay right now, but I can't be out at the protests, which is really hard and it sucks. And I feel kind of useless. So please get out there for me. They need you out there.
Yeah, I'd be out too, but I hurt my foot a little bit.
Whatever. But like, for real though, like this, they got deleted because I think people got pissy about it. But I feel like that's just showing that they were correctly touching the nerve that they were intending to. But I saw tweets from I think it was Brett from Street Fight Radio.
Yeah.
Was saying stuff. He had like the perfect tweet. It was like
that he deleted.
Okay. And I it was funny. I retweeted it, and I right after almost tweeted like, I wish I could retweet this 3 more times. I think if I can remember how it went. Nearly a week of protests and you're still not out there with us. If your bitch ass boss told you to go protest, you'd run right out there and get conked on the head. and you know, it's something like, you know, protesting is jubilant. Come join us, or it's come join us, fulfill your destiny.
Yeah. Oh, I actually saw that tweet. I didn't see the other one.
And so that one ended up getting deleted, I assume, because people got really butthurt about it. Listen, like I said, there are definitely good reasons you might have for not protesting.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the people with good reasons. We're talking about the people without good reasons.
Yeah, with bad reasons.
What else?
It's great. I mean, it's dangerous. Don't get it mixed up. It's dangerous to go protest, but it is a really great time.
It's important.
Yeah.
What is the thing that's going to get you out there if it's not this?
Nothing.
You know, like, come on, people. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is final exam type shit.
Yeah.
Like, stop waiting for the next one. That was the other thing from like Brett's kind of series of tweets was like, stop waiting for the next one. And more importantly, he stressed this too, was like, he was talking about like, we're getting tear gassed every day. Like, we can't keep getting the shit kicked out of us every day. Like, we need you to show up and help us. But then he was also stressing like, there's also lots of toothless suburban protests that you can go to as well. Like, you don't have to be on the front lines of a like protest war zone or whatever. Like, you can totally just go to a regular ass like kids next to a park type protest.
Yeah, I saw all of these, I guess, except for that one that you said first. That's weird. I guess I didn't look at the whole thread.
I guess because it got deleted.
Yeah. It must have gotten deleted really fast then.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, shocked though. Like, I totally shocked to see the amount of engagement with the concept of abolishing the police. Oh, I guess the Minneapolis City Council has already committed to dismantling the Minneapolis Police Department.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how that goes. They said that they're not. They said explicitly that they're not interested in just rebuilding a new thing, like a roast by any other name. But well, like, who knows? It's unfortunate that there's 9 other law enforcement agencies that could step in that are not the Minneapolis Police Department, like state police and the FBI and
just like ICE. You think ICE could come in? You think they could handle it?
ICE can't.
You think they're busy?
I think that they're extremely busy. And it's very sad how extremely busy they are.
Yeah.
But like who I don't think that that cops and the wider world of cops is going to just let this happen.
The wonderful universe of cops. No. Yeah, no, this is a thing, and I want to communicate this to people. Like, this isn't something that's going to be over really soon. Like, this is going to be ongoing for years. And, like right now, the Minneapolis has the attention of not just the entire country, but the entire world that is now looking to them to say, okay, you're going to try this no cop thing, show us how to do it. And like, definitely be ready to call bullshit if it sucks, but also like, there's going to be so many people that want to tear this down from the word go. And like, they're going to need so much support. So, people, I really want to convey to people, I hope people are not hoping that all this, that we're going to abolish the police by Saturday and have it all wrapped up by Sunday. Like, this is going to be like a real thing for a long time. And people really need to get into the mindset of like, like an ongoing vocal support kind of thing.
Yeah. And start thinking of these protests as what they definitionally are, which is, whether you want to call it a rebellion or an uprising. That's what it is. That's why they're dangerous. You are at war with the police. It doesn't matter how much, peaceful protesting you think that you want to do. There's definitely safe ways to do this. Like you said in those tweets from Brett from Street Fight. Like, there's definitely ways to do this that is safer than others, but like, don't get it mixed up. The thing that you're involved in is dangerous. And because the cops are at war with you.
Yeah. And yeah. I don't want to downplay the injuries that people are getting from some of these conflicts with police, because they are quite serious, and I don't want to just say, go to a protest and throw things at cops and you'll be fine. But also like, you don't, this was the other thing was that Brett said, he had a tweet that said, protesting is jubilant. Stop catastrophizing about the worst, the worst case scenario. And I think that's like a good point, is like, like I got my teeth knocked in and it hurt, but I'm okay. Like you might also, if you're not the kind of person that's taken a lot of injury in your life, you might be surprised how resilient you can be. Like like people are definitely out there. Some people are getting really, really serious injuries, but many people are getting pretty, like
bruised up.
Listen, yeah, again, it's like we're trying to walk that fine line. I'm not trying to tell you you'll be fine, go out there, trust me, nothing bad will happen. But I'm also saying this is really fucking important. This is our generation's fight. It's not going to succeed without your support. You need to get out there and fight with us.
Well, this is part of what I wanted to say a little bit earlier too. When I say, don't misunderstand what you're a part of. This is dangerous. The thing that I'm saying isn't don't go. The thing that I'm saying is like understand that before you go. And part of understanding that is going prepared. You should be going to protests with another person.
Cut the handle off your backpack. Oh yeah.
Cut the handle off your backpack. That's important. I know you're making fun of me slightly, I think, but do it. I swear to God, like.
No, I know.
Especially I see a lot of people riding bikes with like backpacks on, and they've just got like shit on their backpack, and it's like you're gonna get fucking grabbed off your your bike.
Cops will grab you. They don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit. They'll grab you, and backpacks are so easy to grab. If you've ever been bullied at school, you know how easy it is to grab someone's backpack. Yeah,
that was honestly, if I had any tips for that video that you saw, Keith, that was a good video. Keith put out a video. Keith had a stupid neon backpack that was going to get him grabbed by the cops, and he was like, "Here's how to cut stuff off of your backpack that people can grab, or
specifically just like think about this. Think about stuff like cutting things off your backpack."
Yes. Yeah, totally. Like, like just make sure you go there. Make sure you have clothes that you're going to be okay if you need to panic run in.
Were you going to say something else about the video?
I was gonna say if I had a pointer, I would say that you didn't actually pay much lip service to what the grabbable parts of your backpack will allow people to do to you.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair.
I think you kind of.
I used to grab generally all the different ways you can be grabbed, but yeah, you're right.
And of course at one point, Keith, it has those like big side strap stabilizer things that you like buckle in front of your stomach to like, it's like a hiking backpack.
Yeah.
And Keith's like, you just take a knife, just cut that right off, flips out his pocket knife and just like butter right through the strap. And the whole audience was just like, oh shit, we just totally lost our shit all at once. I mean, I couldn't hear anybody else because I watched it by myself, but I just knew that was that moment where everyone was like,
sick
what
moment?
Yeah,
I was glad. I mean, going into it, like, I don't know how well this thing's gonna cut through this thing. Really well, apparently.
Really well.
Really well. It was extremely smooth. So other things you can do. I've seen a lot of people recommending shatterproof goggles or glasses. Goggles are better because it helps with gas, even if they're not rated to help with the tear gas. It still will a little bit because it's blocking your eyes. The problem is there's a specific kind of shatterproof glasses, because what you don't want is to get glasses that are shatterproof, but not shatterproof at 105 joules, which is what rubber bullets hit with. That's the impact force of a rubber bullet, 105 joules. It's about 20 to 25% of what a gun does, a real gun, like a bullet going into you.
By the way, unbelievable that not until this week had I seen what a rubber bullet looks like.
They're unreal. They're huge.
The police are firing giant metal dildos at people covered in not soft rubber.
The difference between the reason
it's just that a rubber bullet too big and soft to enter your body. That's literally
the reason that a rubber bullet doesn't kill every single person that they hit is because it's designed to usually not break your skin. That's the only thing about it that makes it less than lethal.
Or I mean, I was seeing some pictures of injuries people were sustaining from rubber bullets, I would say it looks almost certain to break your skin, just not kill you.
Oh, well, I guess penetrate your skin then, like not
Sure,
go
yeah.
all the way into you.
Yeah.
Because
But it's
105
just
joules, if that thing had like a pointed tip and was like if it was like yeah, it's barely rubber, but if it was like metal and had a pointed tip, it would be like getting shot with a cannon. Like it would just go through you, and then you die. So these goggles, there's a standard for goggles for shatterproof called ANSI, ANSI. Those are all insufficient because what you don't want is for those to like for someone to shoot a rubber bullet at your head, a cop to shoot a rubber bullet at your head, and it just breaks through your shatterproof goggles, and now you've got rubber bullet and plastic in your eye. It's Mil Pref 32432 is the lowest standard that will protect your eye from rubber bullets. It's MIL-PRF 32432. Standard is called. It also says ballistic impact. That will protect your eye from rubber bullets. And there are things that are higher than that, but they tend to get more expensive. This is the 32432 are relatively cheap. You can get them for like $10.
That's a great point, Keith. That is a really good idea to have. Also, and I would like to say, because I have recommendations as well. Creamed corn. That's just corn. That's just corn that people chopped it up more, so you don't have to chew it as much. That's really good. You can't use your front teeth. Creamed corn. You want to get that Bob Evans prepackaged mashed potatoes from the refrigerator section, the grocery store. You know, you're gonna be in pain, and you're also, let's face it, you're gonna be smoking a lot of weed, and so you're not gonna want to spend a lot of time making the mashed potatoes. But these mashed potatoes, you just microwave them, and they're very soft. You don't need teeth to eat those either. Okay. And then I would say, again, sticking with easy to make soft stovetop stuffing. You just boil the water. And the great thing about stovetop stuffing, Keith, is you boil the water, but you don't keep boiling it. You just need the water to get to boiling temperature. Then you just shut it off
and let it sit.
Pour the stovetop right in, cover it for a couple minutes, boom.
I have more safety gear recommendation.
Okay, this is important, and I just want to before the safety gear is important, but this is important too. McCormick Simply Better chicken gravy. I think a lot of people are familiar when it comes to the prepackaged gravies. They're familiar with like the Heinz jarred gravy. You know what I'm talking about, Keith.
Yeah, I would love to talk about the safety gear.
You know about the jarred Heinz gravy, but this is in a box, like a carton. It's in a small carton, and it's very good. Tastes much, much closer to homemade gravy.
Yeah. If you wanna not have to know what the softest foods are, you can get Airsoft. Airsoft, which is the fake gun game people shoot each other with little foam things. A common gear for that, it's a half mask, and it's made of a metal mesh. You can cover your nose and mouth with a metal mesh, and that should also help if someone's shooting something at your face or if someone's trying to hit you with a bat. That will help. Also for the goggles, tear gas resistance. The standard is D5. D is like the particle protection standard, and it goes from 1 to 6, I think. 5 is pretty much not impervious, but it'll like pretty much keep you from getting any tear gas in your eyes. Although if you're more concerned about tear gas than getting shot in the eye with a rubber bullet, like swimming goggles also work. Forearm guards, like shin guards if you played soccer, but for your forearms. That's another good one. Those are my recommendations.
Oh, here's my recommendation, and this was gloves. Gloves. You'd be surprised how you put on those gloves. Just get simple. You can go on Amazon, honestly, and order like weird combat gloves that these gun nuts wear or whatever. But like, even just, I have like a pair of gardening gloves that are just like gardening gloves that they made to look not stupid. So they look like, like combat gloves basically or whatever. But like, you'd be surprised how much scrappier you are when you don't have to worry about scraping your palms.
Yeah, and that's also important if you're going to get shot with tear gas and you're feeling like you want to be one of the guys who helps with tear gas and picks it up and puts it in water or covers it with a cone or throws it back at the police.
Or throws it
Those
back.
are hot. Those are hot.
Yeah.
You might not think about that because
especially the part where the gas is coming out.
Yeah, it's hot because it explodes. So so you want gloves for that.
Yeah. Oh, and this is a good point. A Devious Vacuum in the chat saying that, like, just to be clear, the normie protests happen during the day and the tear gas comes out at night. So, like, if you do want to avoid the dangerous stuff, you can go during the day mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably already know if you live in a city where it's not safe during the day either.
Figure out where the bail funds are in your city and write the number on your shoe. Don't write it on your arm or your hand. You're going to get sweaty and it's going to come off. Even if it's Sharpie, it could get smudged. You're much better off writing it on your shoe or putting
Sharpie not that permanent, by the way.
Yeah, not that permanent.
No lie.
I mean, it definitely will. You'll be covered in ink. It just might not be a legible number. Write it on your shoe or figure out some other way to do it. Do both. Because I don't know, you might lose your shoe. Who knows? And some of them are text only or they prefer text. So figure it out. If you are going to go alone, have someone at home who, like a friend who you can call them and they will text the bail fund for you. Don't show up. Just begging people to not show up to a protest and think that like 100% for sure I'm going to spend 4 hours chanting and then we're going to go home.
Sure. Yeah. And have a back, if you have a backup friend who's not going, you can let them know. If you have the ability to have somebody on call in case you need to call them for a ride, these kinds of things.
Yeah.
And also, if you don't have anybody like that in your life that you can go with or whatever, you can probably seek out, groups of people like a small kind of like community action group that is like all going together, and you might be able to join that.
Yeah. Well, we've been going for a while. We can stop without playing a game. It might be forcing it to play a game.
Yeah, we don't really need to play a game. I will say, we didn't really talk more about Boston, but I don't know. I can't tell if I kind of like I want to keep talking, but I don't know what else there is to still say, I guess. I don't know.
I guess we talked a lot about the protests. I don't think we've said it directly, though. It's obviously a horrific tragedy what happened to George Floyd and what happens to people all around the country who are murdered by police. Police are horrible. They're an out of control racist army and they kill 1,000 people every year.
Yeah.
It's like unbelievable.
This was actually another thing that got me fired up like the morning after my injury was did you must have seen that that LA call-in show with the police commission? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I may know what you're talking about, but just not know that's what that was. So
it was basically like the LAPD police commission, like all the suits that run the the state thugs. It was like a Zoom meeting with like 6 of those people, and they were just having LA residents that could call in and got 90 seconds to voice their mind to the LA Police Commission.
Oh, yeah, I do know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is just nothing but a string of people just dragging these motherfuckers so good. You definitely need to go check that out. The thing was, this was on a Monday, and I originally planned to do a snooze button the very next day. So I was like, I saved all these links, like, we got to listen to these clips. They're so good. But of course, now that was 8 days ago, which in this political climate feels like 8 years ago. So that's lost. But I really just fucking love that the one guy who calls in, and he clearly was like both like a radio professional of some kind and had pre-written his thing that he was reading. And that one line where he talks about how like all the police commissioner are acting like bored kids in detention, and they only seem to react when people use profanity. And he just goes like, if you think curse words are bad, wait until you hear about these 600 plus murders your department has committed in the last 7 years.
Yeah,
like, off, King.
If you look at like, and it's gruesome to even think about that someone like had to make this, but if you look at like the police murder heat map of America, the concentration in LA and New York is unbelievable.
Yeah, like over 600 murders in 7 years.
In 7 years.
That is like a murder every 8 days or something.
Yeah. It's almost 100 murders a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like every 3 or 4 days actually. Sorry.
Yeah. It's like every 4 point something days probably.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say the guy who said you're not going to be able to hear it, so maybe I won't play it. The guy who spent about 30 seconds yelling, "I yield my time, fuck you." Yeah, suck my dick and choke on it. I yield my time, fuck you.
It's so good. And you know what? And he said, "I yield my time" when there was 2 seconds left. Yeah. But you know what? I admire the commitment. It's still good. It's so good. I yield my time, fuck you.
It's just the ferocity of that tirade is
so much fire. I love the woman who's just like, "We'll see you in the streets. Black Lives Matter." Just like, I fucking love these people.
Yeah. People are fucking mad.
Yeah, it rules. They should be.
Totally rules. They totally should
Every
be.
day I'm like, why aren't people more mad?
Yeah, there's like a billion individual reasons why Americans should be at war with their own country, and we found honestly a really fucking good one to actually do it.
And this was another thing I remembered. I couldn't believe this was I think the Monday the 1st, June 1st, was the 99th anniversary of the Tulsa Race Massacre. That's a really important event in American history that they don't teach anybody in this country about. You should really go read about it.
Oh yeah.
It's important.
Mm-hmm.
That, like that, man, like that. Sorry.
I mean, it's we're talking.
I'm thinking about how, like, you say abolish the police, and people are like, "But what about gangs?" And I was like, if you want to know why we have gangs, why don't you go read about things like the Tulsa Massacre?
Yeah, fucking cops kill more people every year than any gang ever possibly could. Cops steal more money every year than like actual robbery amounts through civil asset forfeiture. Like everything you're afraid of, the cops are best at doing.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, can I read this like text? I kind of gave my sister like a pitch on like, because I said abolish the police, and she gave me like the no police or no police with guns, and I was like, no police. Let me ask you this. Like, here's a question you might want to ask yourself. It's like, what does the good cops actually do? This is a question everybody needs to ask themselves right now. This is really important. Like, what's the good that they do? Prevent murder? No. They show up after the murder's already done, and they find the easiest person to convict.
Yeah.
It's like, do they stop domestic abuse? No. The police are the domestic abusers. They have the highest rate of domestic abuse of like any profession by far. It's like frankly shocking because, of course, when the people
it's 40%, and that's what's reported.
That's what's reported.
Yeah.
Because the people in charge of stopping domestic abuse are the ones doing it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what are cops for helping people on the street? It's like, yeah, right. Like, seriously, just stop for 2 seconds and think about it. In your entire fucking life, have you ever seen like a person whose purse got snatched on the street or something and then went, oh no, officer, please come help me? And then like a cop came and was like, I'm here to help you, citizen. Like, fuck no, that's never fucking happened. They just like harass black people that are trying to go home from work or whatever.
Yeah, you're touching on something that's really important, which is that it's not even the stated job of police to prevent or solve crime. Like, that's not even what they're like. That's what they say that they do. But like, if you actually look at what they do, like, that's not even what they're trying to do. All that they can do is react to what's around them. And because they're dumbasses and racists and all they care about is, what their stupid cop bosses tell them to care about.
Yeah.
All they do is just like give people tickets for speeding and arrest people for selling drugs or for having drugs, which are like both pretty much just not crimes. Pretty clearly like, not crimes.
Yeah. Most of what the police spends their time doing is
sitting around
fighting domestic wars that they invented to keep their jobs.
Right. Yeah. And sitting around, like literally what it is they just sit around and wait for something to happen around them that they could turn into a crime.
Yeah. The cops are itching for this at all times, by the way. Yeah. Like if you're wondering like, how could the police be taking these protests, the protest violence, so extremely? It's because they have been having wet dreams about this moment their whole careers. They've been waiting for the day that they got to wage open warfare on the populace. This is what they've been waiting for.
If you think that what the cops do is prevent crime, and what they actually do is figure out ways to criminalize daily life, then the reason that you're able to think that what cops do is prevent crime is because you're protected by other forces.
Yeah. And like, okay, listen, like I white.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if you didn't know that till just now, but I am. And I've lived most of my life as a man, and a straight one. So I had quite a bit of privilege. So I'll say that like, I have a pretty privileged interaction with the police, which is like my primary interaction with the police is basically just being really, really, really anxious and stressed at all times when I'm driving that I'm about to get like half a paycheck docked from me for driving the regular ass speed that everyone always drives on the roads, except this time past a cop. Like, honestly, it's like, first of all, cops don't prevent robberies, by the way. I just want to make that clear. But like, even if they did, like, you know what? Robbers could come break into my house every now and then if it meant I didn't have to feel like harassed. Like I didn't have to feel constantly worried about my financial situation while I'm just trying to drive through a town.
Yeah, I've never
and this is stress and anxiety about the least of what cops do.
Yeah, I'm an extremely safe driver. I've never run a red light. I don't blow through stop signs.
We're all very impressed.
Thank you. Well, what I'm saying is, but I've still been charged like 15, probably more. I've incurred somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 in fees from what cops and the Massachusetts government have decided is criminal driving.
Yikes.
There's just nothing that a robbery could do to take that much from me. They could take my TV, which was, it was a $400 TV, but it was, it's years old and I probably was going to replace it soon anyway. They could take my Xbox. I have 2 Xboxes because of Isaac.
I've got to say this was for me. This was a full on boast. Please don't come steal my things. I like these things and I spent money on them and I want to keep them.
But what I'm saying is the cops have taken more from me than a single robbery probably could.
Oh God, yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Don't come and take my things, but that's only because I'm only saying that because the cops also took all my money already.
Yeah, the cops are already taking your things, and that's not counting the money that they take out of from the taxes that you pay,
and it's not counting the money that they literally steal with civil asset forfeiture.
Fucking
$3
believe
billion a year.
like not like this is new information to me, but just because there have been so many like pie charts going around about like city budgets, like here's how much of the LA budget is spent on police, here's how much
Yeah.
of the Oakland
Was it
budget, blah blah. And
54?
it's like, can you look at these fucking pie? Yeah, like Oakland is like 55% or 60% or something like that. It's wild. And it's like just to the police, and the other 40% is like everything else Oakland spends money on.
Yeah.
And like imagine looking at these pie charts and being like, welfare is the problem. Welfare is like this tiny little slice on these pies, and like the police slices are so big you would never call them a slice if you saw it taken out of a cake or a pie. You'd be like, you just cut that pie in half.
It
Not a
doesn't even
slice.
make sense.
You
Like
made
if
two smaller pies out of this big pie.
if you think about think about the way that budgets work, like how think about the things that like how objects work. It's like the idea is that some of this money is being spent on hiring and police and paying police, and then a lot of it is spent on like gear, I guess, or whatever. And it's like, how much shit do you think that these police stations have stockpiled if this is their budgets? Like
so much.
Like they're like, you don't need new batons every year, and they're probably not buying new batons every year. Like, what could they be doing with this money? It's literally unthinkable that they could be spending it.
Yeah, I mean they're buying. I mean, we know where they're clearly constantly buying new police cruisers all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking about a tweet I saw about that subject that pissed me off. But they're constantly buying all this unsold military gear, and they're constantly paying for extra combat training. I heard there's some statistic I heard, and I don't know what they were quoting, if it was like the average American cop or a specific city's cops or whatever, but it was like, whatever police force they were talking about was like, they get like 115 hours of combat training and 8 hours of conflict mediation and conflict de-escalation training. Can you fucking imagine?
I mean, I can imagine because I can see the result of it.
Yeah.
Not that I think, I mean, that's the other thing is
No, I want to say, I know you're about to be like, getting better training for the cops isn't going to fix anything, and you're right, but it's just like, imagine
just the audacity of not even pretending like you need it.
Yeah, like imagine actually it being your job to properly train the police. Hey, you're in charge of the police. You got to make sure they get trained so they do a good job. And you're like, yeah, they need 150 hours of training and like how to wage war on their community. And then, the fucking liberals in the city council want us to do 1 day of mandatory conflict resolution. It's just like a fucking joke.
Man. Yeah, and this is part of what you were saying earlier about the racist cops have got to go chant. It's like no, like it takes an extra level of consideration to target the people in charge who like make the decisions of how much time gets allocated to what when you're training a cop. Like that, like that's not a lot of people's idea of a racist cop, but that's what they are. Like the person who decided that it's only 8 hours, that person's a racist cop.
Yeah, like yeah. That it's just the thing. It is the total flagrant disinterest and even the most marginal half-assed effort into like being better at their jobs.
Yeah,
they're psychopaths.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that like there's a lot of reasons why training doesn't work, why increasing training for cops doesn't work. I think one really easy one, I think, for people to understand is that for literally ever, the American police have been infiltrated openly and what's the opposite of openly? Covertly infiltrated by fucking Nazis and the KKK. Yeah. It's just full of them. It does not matter how much sensitivity training you give to a fucking Nazi. They're a Nazi.
Go figure. Yeah. And this is their club. This is their hangout club.
That's their hangout
Them
club.
and all their friends get jobs on the force, and they all sit around all day and laugh about how much fun it is to beat the shit out of brown people. Or they bitch and moan about how
they're under attack.
They're out there helping these people, and they just give me a come on.
Yeah, it's a total scam.
Sorry, I was scrolling through this timeline. I just saw a Blue Lives Matter flag, but someone made the blue line brown, and they said, "The thin bread crust pizza delivery is twice as dangerous as being a cop. Salute the real truth."
Yeah, it's being a cop is not dangerous. It's not dangerous. It's not dangerous. There's less crime than there's ever been. There's more money in policing. There's safer gear. The cops are just as violent as ever. Nothing anyone's ever done has ever reduced the amount that police kill people. And I think this is part of it. I think this is applicable to a lot of the things that are wrong with like liberalism and quote unquote progressivism or progressive liberalism or whatever derogatory thing that you want to say about the progressive movement. What do you say?
Did you see the thing I retweeted yesterday from that fucking asshole who's like, aren't there noise ordinances in Seattle?
No.
Oh, sorry. It was basically just like some lib who, they tear gassed the Seattle protesters 2 days after they said they weren't going to do that for 30 days.
Right.
And then someone said, you wanted to march at midnight while everyone's trying to sleep in their apartments? Aren't there noise ordinances in Seattle? And I looked at their profile, and it was like hashtag save California, hashtag hand marked paper ballots. There's a class war right now and the working class is losing so bad.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is the liberal platform, is save our democracy, but not while people are trying to sleep. Like, come the fuck on.
Yeah, it drives me crazy.
It's funny. You go like, is there not a noise ordinance in Seattle? And I just go like,
doesn't anybody care?
Not for punk asses like you, but thanks for asking. Middle finger emoji.
Yeah, it's unbelievable the extent to which like the progressive liberal movement has been totally totally exposed to be nothing but just what they are, progressive liberals. There's a bunch of Bernie people who are out at the protests and who are like young and maybe or maybe not have totally figured out their politics yet, but being someone for hand-marked paper ballots because the Democrats, suck doesn't automatically make you a good or thoughtful political person, except in, I guess, that one thing. But it's like, we talk about police and, whatever kind of reform people want to do to whatever kind of thing. And it's like people have a habit of saying like, oh, we should just like reform it. Like it's worse than it was. Let's just like make rules to get it back to the way things were. And it's like, yeah, but the way things were led to now.
Yeah. I had a really hard time. Like, I think it was those series of YouTube videos. I don't think this person makes them anymore. The alt-right playbook.
Yeah, I do know those.
Those videos, they have two really good ones that I would recommend if people are just trying to get like more, like if you identify as liberal and now you feel like suddenly everyone's mad at liberals and you're not sure when that happened and you want to like try to get on everyone else's wavelength, I would recommend checking out the alt-right playbook. Has I think two different videos. I think one is like what conservatives believe and what liberals believe, and just talks about like the way they see the world and their thought process and how they see things. Because I think it's a really important thing to understand how people come up with the opinions and perspectives that they have, that I think is a lot of people aren't doing properly. But it's interesting talking about how a lot of like the liberal perspective is this idea that the way you handle things, like liberalism is about, we need to create this perfect justice machine. Like justice isn't for any one person to enact. We create a perfect machine that will sort out justice from injustice, and anything we just dump into the machine will take care of it for us. If the wrong thing is coming out of the machine, well, we just have to get the repairman in there to tinker with it a little bit. And it's like they just can't accept the fact that, like, no, the perfect justice dispensing machine doesn't actually exist and it's not possible.
And on top of that, even if it were, our particular machine is shit. It's not even close.
It's a lemon, y'all. It's a lemon.
Yeah, it's like even if there was a way, let's pretend it's a computer, right? Like, it's possible to have a working computer. And this is the part that's a fiction. It's not in the real life case. It's not possible to have a perfect justice machine. But even if it was, it's like we have a fucking like wet. It's just wet. It's just covered in water. It's like a computer, and it's like I'm sure that if we. Maybe there's dust underwater in there. It's like, no, it's dripping wet. And it's like, maybe there's a plug that's loose. It's like, no, it's dripping wet. You need a whole new thing.
Yeah. Whole new thing. Discipline Daddy in the chat says Listen Liberal by Thomas Frank is a great book about the abject failure of Democrats.
That's true.
Yeah,
I have a little bit of I have a small amount of beef with Thomas Frank, not over anything really significant, but
just the typical amount of Keith.
Amount of Keith.
The Keith beef.
Yeah, but I definitely.
That's our new weekly segment, Keith beef. I haven't read. Keith, what's the beef?
I haven't read Listen Liberal, but I have heard people say that it is really good.
Okay, that's good.
So Listen Liberal, I think is one of the ones that seems probably fine. But that's
yeah, so that was just why I bring up that liberal thing. It's just like if you keep looking at liberals and just can't figure out where they're getting their ideas from, that's the idea. Is like this fucking like not while people are sleeping person who's like, listen, if you want to change the system, you have to work with the system's rules, and the rules say don't be loud at midnight.
Yeah.
That's not how you fix the machine.
Yeah.
The machine can't work if you don't listen to the rules, and the rules say don't be loud at midnight.
Yeah. And it's tough because I also think, like, you know, there's an attractiveness to liberalism in its sort of more in it. You know, Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren are both liberals.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is that Hillary Clinton, I think, is, you know, as an exponentially worse actor than Elizabeth Warren is.
Yeah.
Like, she's just way worse. She's a bigger liar. She's awful. Probably more racist. She's just awful. Just a terrible
super
piece
predator.
Of shit. Yeah, exactly. Just a ridiculous, just one of the absolute worst people on the planet.
And she loves her rapist husband.
She loves her rapist husband.
She sure isn't leaving her rapist husband.
She not only that, but has actively worked to destroy his credible accusers. And Elizabeth Warren, also a liberal. But she's a liberal in a way that feels more honest. Feels like she really wants to get in there and fuck with that computer.
from classical liberal to modern liberal.
Yeah. Like Elizabeth Warren is like, can't you guys see that this computer is wet? We need a towel. And it kind of makes sense. Like, yeah, it's wet.
Yeah,
we do need a towel. You need a new computer.
No, listen, when you're in a room full of people that are like, pour more water on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the person asking for a towel seems reasonable.
Yeah. We can't start this. Take the first step one. You got to take the computer out of the water. Dry it off a little bit. See how that works.
Put it in a bag of rice. Guys, I actually, you know what? It's funny. I think I literally saw somebody say something like that, like making fun of liberals, like put our democracy in a bag of rice.
That's funny. So I think there's a tendency, I think, and it's difficult. You know, you see the liberal ideology manifesting itself in a way that feels more honest and feels more substantive. But the end of the day is liberalism is wrong. They're wrong about the ideas they have and the way that they understand the world. And the only thing that it can do is serve to, it just gives cover to the right wing. It just allows the right wing to keep making things worse.
Yeah.
The
Democrats are the shock troopers of the Republican Party. What is this? Why do we have this hell world?
And the only way to you can't escape the like totally stagnant like we haven't moved forward as a country in decades. We are stuck in a nightmare Arrested Development. And that's because of liberalism. Not only is liberalism a wrong idea, that's bad and only can serve to keep making to allow things to keep getting worse. It also itself is getting worse. The only way to break free of these horrible chains is to stop being liberals. Exercise the liberalism from your mind. It takes years. I have liberal thoughts all the time. I've been trying to not be a liberal for you know, it's not a ton of time, but for like 6 years, 7 years.
Please subscribe to my Twitter alt @libthoughts.
But it's true. You have liberal ideas that you don't even know that you have. Even if you've even if you've read some Marx and decided you're a communist and have been a communist for years, you still have liberal thoughts. You still have ideas because that's the entire frame of reference that you have as a person. And you have to exercise the liberalism from your body, get it out.
Yeah. You saw that prayer circle of those people denouncing white privilege. Got to do one of those for liberalism too.
Yeah, maybe
call them back in. Get them back in there. Everyone remake the circle.
Yeah, just understand what liberalism is and understand how some of your thoughts are bad liberal thoughts and get rid of them.
And you know what? I forgot about this. A couple days ago, J.K. Rowling tried to come in and steal the show with for the 1000th time being transphobic, but finally coming as close as she will ever allow herself to come to admitting that she's a TERF.
She's we have known
J.K. Rowling
for
sucks so bad.
We've known for over half a decade that she's a TERF. Unbelievable that this is still happening.
Yeah. And she's not just misguided too. I see all these Harry Potter simps that are like, oh, what? So she's just misguided? It's no, she's not misguided. She's actively followed and is fans of these horrible TERF people and has actively rejected people trying to educate her at every possible turn.
Yeah,
she blows.
She is just as vile and full of hate as the totally unhinged, violently transphobic TERFs that you see in comments to things that she posts or things that people post about her. The only difference is that she's rich and famous and doesn't want to blow it. And still can't help herself.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
That was all. That was the thing. It's I don't even want to give her the airtime to try to make this any less about the stuff that it's supposed to be about that isn't J.K. Rowling. But I do just want to put it out there. If you hadn't heard by now that J.K. Rowling is a huge shitty transphobe, now you know.
Yeah, now you know. Sorry that you hadn't heard. It's really bad.
Yeah, trust me, it'll get... I know you're thinking right now that even if she's horrible, you still can't let go of your precious Harry Potter memories. Trust me, just give it a year or two of having to think about transphobia every time you think about Harry Potter, and that'll just work itself out on its own.
Yeah. Anything else for today, Kylie?
God, I hope not. I have weed to smoke.
Nice. I'm glad that you've got the weed to smoke. When I'm in any sort of pain, if I smoke weed, it just makes the pain throb.
Oh no.
Yeah, I can't smoke when I have a headache. I can't smoke when I hurt my foot. I can't smoke.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
For me it's almost the opposite. Like
Yeah.
it's like I don't think it doesn't have like pain relieving qualities for me, but like pretty close to that. I remember when I had the Norwalk virus, which was just a short but really bad flu. It was like the weed was the only thing that let me get sleep. It was like I was so like I felt so horrible and stuffed up I couldn't sleep, but then the weed would let me go to sleep.
The thing that it does for me is it makes me hyper focus on the discomfort.
Okay.
So even something like having post-nasal drip, which I guess would be exacerbated by like a cotton mouth or something. Even like if I smoke and then try to go to bed and I have post-nasal drip, I just like can't do anything but focus on it, and then I'm up like all night.
Oof.
Yeah. I barely smoke weed anymore anyway, so it's not a big deal, but
yeah, I need to stop just because it makes my executive dysfunction so much worse. Like and Twitter does also, and then of course now with all these protests constantly happening, I'm just glued to Twitter all day. It's really bad.
Yeah,
like,
I gotta get off Twitter.
I'm literally not going to use Twitter today. I'm going to try not to, because yesterday I literally just like sat at my computer desk and was just on Twitter for like 8 hours straight, and that was my whole day.
Yeah, I was like on Twitter reading stuff about protests, watching live streams. Like the next day I would do it again. Like we're talking like spending 6 hours just on Twitter. And then the next day I did the same thing and then went out to a protest and then came home and then watched more streams. And then the next day my foot hurt too bad to walk. So I just spent the whole day on Twitter again. It's bad. I have to give myself a Twitter timeout.
I guess that's all we have to say. Everyone take care of yourself, but get out there. I mean, like for the people that have been home so far, please get out there. People that have been out there this whole time, please get some rest.
Yeah.
And I just want to put this out here, like for real, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Your kids are going to learn about this in school 15, 20 years from now. And when they come home and ask you if you were there, be able to tell them yes.
Yeah. Honestly, they're probably already learning about it in school.
Well, they're not in school right now, but yeah.
Oh, fair. Yeah, good point. Last thing, I have a recommendation. I was able to give myself some peace of mind. I watched season 2 of one of my favorite shows. I'll say this. It's a really white show, so if you're in the mood to not have something that's extremely
I've just been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's my favorite comfort watch.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine has so much fucking propaganda in it. It's unreal. Like it's basically every other line out of their mouths is like the police station has no money and Jake Peralta's poor. It's unbelievable. Like it's like, what are you talking about? This fucking, with the amount of, canonically, a character who's a workaholic and works like 60 hours, 70 hours a week with cop overtime, unbelievable. That guy would be rich.
Yeah, that person owns the police force now. They don't have to go on patrol anymore.
Obviously, that's not all. Contests are constantly having contests so you can arrest the most people.
Yeah,
fucking
God,
sick.
it's wild.
Yeah.
And I know that your stance on Brooklyn Nine-Nine is that you hate that it's so much about cops because you really like the writing and the characters. Honestly, I think the writing and the characters both suck. I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine full on blows. That show's not good. It's actually breathtaking how so many talented comedic actors could be in something and have that product be so bad. Watch something better. I don't know. That's all I got.
That wasn't the show that I was trying to recommend. So.
Oh no, I know. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's fine. It was Joe Pera Talks with You. That's the name of the show. It's really good.
What's about?
Joe Pera is a comedian who does a sort of semi persona of like this sort of bland, like gentle, slow talking guy. And Joe Pera Talks With You is a sort of show that he like sort of semi-fictionally hosts. Like it's sort of like the Office in that like there's always a camera there and they acknowledge if there's a camera there, but there's not,
I get what
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's sort of like
mockumentary,
sort of, and he's like sort of hosting a show about his life in this small Michigan town.
It's an in-fiction show.
It's an in-fiction show. No, it's not an in-fiction show.
Well,
it sort of feels sometimes like his camera is like he's imagining that there's a camera there, but also other characters have acknowledged the camera every once in a while. It's weird. It's just an excuse. It's just like a very thin fictional excuse to talk to the camera. Anyway, Joe Pera, a slow talking, gentle, sort of vanilla guy who just sort of has this show about his sort of daily life in this small Michigan town. And it's really funny. It's sometimes goofy. It's incredibly heartfelt. The show seems like a love letter to his grandmother, who he very clearly loves very much, and who is a main character in the show. It was played in one episode by his real grandmother, but she passed away before the show got picked up as a series. But it's really, really good and funny. I recommend. I've been recommending this for years, but I just want this to be something that people have actually seen and care about. Start with season 1, episode 3. Joe Pera takes you on a fall drive. It's maybe my favorite episode of television ever made. It's very easy to sort of to watch the show and sit back and think about a slow, monotonous life that this boring guy, this boring but sweet guy, just sort of enjoys, even though it's sad. And it's good. I recommend it. It was a good and felt like a healthy break from staring at Twitter all day. It's a show that I really liked when it first aired, and I just like sort of blazed through season 2 in a couple days.
I give 2 recommendations. I'll give 2 kind of opposing recommendations. I think if you're looking for something where you can just get away from the world for 30 minutes or 10 minutes, and just want to watch something that is good and will make you feel good, Steven Universe will make you feel so good. Go watch that show. That's just a happy, positive show that will make you feel awesome.
Well, I don't think it's just a happy, positive show.
But I guess what I mean is like there are important emotional things that happen in that show, but they're just good. But I always come out of it feeling really nice. Steven Universe makes me happy, but not just because it doesn't make you think about important feelings, but because it handles those important feelings really well.
I would like to put counterpoint. I also really like Steven Universe, but I often end those episodes feeling extremely melancholy. Not in a bad way. I just feel like that's the mood that the show puts me in.
Okay. That is a valuable perspective. And I would say if you're looking for something, I don't want to say meteor, like I don't want to disparage Steven Universe, but if you're looking for something headier, that is might not take your mind that far off of stuff that's happening right now, but is gonna, at least setting wise, take you away, could go read Ancillary Justice by Ann Leckie, the first book in the Imperial Ratch trilogy. It's very good. It's a sci-fi book that's all about empire and consciousness and empire and humanity and empire, and it's extremely good. Go check it out. I also just started Oryx and Crake, which also seems like has a lot to do with consciousness and stuff, but it seems kind of depressing. It's been depressing me. They live in a post-pandemic world, and it sucks.
Ooh. Good recommendations. That's it for Run Button for today.
Margaret Atwood, Oryx and Crake. Sorry.
Margaret Atwood. That sounds really familiar. Oh, I think I know
a
Margaret
famous
Atwood.
author.
Yeah, famous author.
I haven't read anything from her before.
Yeah, that's everything. You can
that's everything.
You go to youtube.com/runbutton to watch more of our stuff. You can go to contentburger.biz to support the show. Kylie, you have something?
Yeah, you could stop killing black trans people.
Yeah.
Liana Dior, hope they're okay, and publicly execute the cops that killed Breonna Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They reopened that case. That's I get
Take care
quote
of
unquote
yourself.
good.
Love you.